He goes around in the background catching fish. So it's really, really silly, and that's the one that with some Vanguard fans it got really popular. So I would just tattoo a big fish on my bum.
I'd probably go with words. It says, if found dead, please erase my browser history.
One of the first characters I played was Ace Ventura on the Ace Ventura cartoon, which was a Jim Carrey series. I don't know, some of you might be a little young.
I remember it.
But I would probably, for him, I would probably put like, because he loved pets. So I think he'd like to put like a monkey, his pet monkey, on his butt.
The monkey on your back.
and he'd be spanking the monkey, thank you, when, anyway.
I would watch that. It's Goki from Cardfight Vanguard. Maybe get like Dandy Guy Romario just tattooed right there on the backside. That was always my favorite kind.
Yeah, I think Dr. O is too easy, so I'm probably going to say, with Hisoka on Hunter x Hunter, he was always preying on the young boy, Gon, in the show. And preying, I think, is an appropriate term. And in one episode, I remember the script came across, and I said, oh, I don't think we can say this. And they said, well, actually, it's been toned down a lot since the original. So I was basically to say that, he was like a peach, not quite ripe enough to bite into yet. And so I think, I'd probably have him with that peach just getting a bruise in it, just starting to settle. Right for the plucking.
Is it weird that I feel like I need a shower all of a sudden?
Do we have a shower? Yeah, oh yeah. Voice talent gets a hose.
Now we got a question. There we go.
A big sword. That's right. And I'll leave that open to you. He's got a monkey and a sword. I'll either know.
One there and then one there. First.
What's the most hilarious moment you had in the recording booth?
Oh, thanks, Todd. I think when I was walking down the hallway, I heard Adam talking about when we both walked into the studio and luckily got hired. We had the great honor of working with a more veteran voice actor who's now in BC or Cologne or somewhere. I guess that's redundant.
Dave Pettit.
Yeah, and he was, he'd been in the business a good chunk of years by then, and Adam and I were just starting out. We got to go in and do, like the background guys. They were just kind of ingratiating us into the fold. And this guy was doing the most obscure, obtuse, non-linear. It was like a stringing of consonants. And we're like, what are you doing? He's like, they can't make it out anyways. I just make up a bunch of sounds. And so we were all like, politely like, oh, do you have a paper this morning? Oh, I take a coffee now. And he's like, you can do that? And the director's like, please don't do that. Dave, don't teach these kids to do that. And we've always done that since then. We make sure that this virus is passed on to the next generation when they want to bring in new kids. And, don't do that. Just make up terrible, terrible things.
Wallace sessions are definitely the most fun, especially with new fish. that is always the most fun, because then I always try to do something inappropriate into the microphone. So, it'll be like a happy little friendly kids show like Hunter x Hunter or something like that. And and they'll be walking through a mini mall or something like that, and I'll be in the back and like, Mom, I was gonna have a snow cone, but then Brother pissed in it, and I really want to know why they didn't have it. Mom was like, oh, snow cone, maybe not yellow this time because you couldn't tell. And at the end of it, everyone in the booth is cracking up, but the director and the producer inside like, what did Adam say this time? We can't take that one. Well, what did I say? You tell me. I didn't say anything wrong. Pretty sure some sunshine.
You're doing 7 layers. What does it matter?
Catch me.
Well, every section is fun because doing animation just is a lot of fun. You're laughing all the time. You're always trying to make everyone else laugh. And I remember one time when I was doing George of the Jungle. And do you guys know the voice actor Paul Dobson? Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
He was on, one of the big series he did way back, I was just trying to remember that, Reboot. You guys know that. But anyways, he's kind of an SHIT disturber when he works beside you. So he's always trying to mess up me when I'm doing my lines. So he had this picture of the Pope on the end of his pencil. And he would like put it just underneath the music stand, so it would just come up and like sort of peek at me when I'm like doing my lines, and be like, "Oh, you want to have a visit from the Pontiff? Oh, no, you don't." And then he'd do that right up until they were slating the take, and then I'd be like, "And I can't do this take," and I'd be like, break up laughing. It was hilarious.
So many stories. One of the go-to great days was in a room full of actors doing X-Men Evolution, and an actor show remain nameless because he can take me in a street fight. So he was doing a part where he had to yell quite loudly, and they kept pushing him to go louder. And I remember where he's like, he's like, nobody talks about this. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, sometimes when you're doing dubbing, you're by yourself, right? You record in seclusion, so the engineer will set up a mic, so you have your level, and you gotta get ready to do your thing. So I start recording, and then they go, "Oh man, you're starting to slouch, like we gotta readjust the mic." I'm like, "Sorry guys." He comes inside, and as soon as he walks into the room, he's like, I was like, "Yeah, I totally just farted, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." So the studio part's always the worst, honestly, because sometimes you think you can let one go, you're in this room all by yourself, it's nice and comfortable, and then, someone has to come in and ruin it. So.
That's why I pre-slouch.
So you can fart as much as you want.
Exactly. No, actually, my story is about Dave as well. Dave Pettit.
We already used that story.
No, I got a different one and a better one, so I'm just throwing that out there. I was 15, I think, when we were dubbing Zoid's Chaotic Century. You guys heard of that? Yeah. When we were dubbing that, Dave had the session right before mine, and essentially what he did is he went through and changed all of my lines to dirty lines. Every single one of them for like 3 or 4 pages, and I'm 15. I'm blushing and giggling. I could barely get through the session, and I get out there and Dave's in the green room, and I'm like, "Dude, what'd you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, those were for Meredith." I'm like, this is my character, and that's always stuck with me. Dave's a good dude. Exactly why.
You got deported.
Because ADR is obviously different from Prelay. Sometimes we get the script so fast that while you know you have a character, you're not exactly sure. You're madly flipping through the script trying to figure out what's coming next. So I remember years ago, this was for Chaotic Century too, I played Hills. And before that, I had 2 or 3 episodes of just being like, "I'll get you next time," and not just appearing at the end of the episode. In the last couple of episodes, I was late. I ran into the session. I opened up the page, and I'm like, "Holy crap! I get to blow up cities? What? I get to stomp and kill everybody? This is wicked!" So
It's finally next time.
Finally next time. And so, and having not read ahead in the script, it was just like opening a present on Christmas Day. And yeah, I think, as someone who grew up watching cartoons and stuff like that, it's moments like, and I hadn't been doing it for too long. This was my 2nd year or so doing voice acting. It was one of those moments where it was just, I finally get to blow up something big. And that was an exciting day for me.
Oh, yeah. Actually, a question there, and then we'll come back to this. I was just wondering what kinds of day jobs and side jobs you guys were exploring for building your career out while you're going to auditions. Before you became household names, what did you
This is where we never talk about that.
one day, let's start with Kirby and work our way that way.
Weird.
Day jobs. I actually did stand-up comedy for a good long while. That was fun, so it was a night job. That's the key, actually. If you want to be an actor, voice actor, your auditions and your jobs are going to be in the daytime, so you don't need you can't have another job that's going to interfere with your possibility of getting the job that you want. So looking for night jobs was the thing. And I worked in restaurants, bartending, because there's booze there. Yeah. Yeah, just things like that.
Cool. Right now, I work at Chorus Entertainment. It's a group of radio stations here in Calgary, and we do broadcasts and stuff like that. So if you listen to Country 105 or Q107 or News Talk 770, you might hear me now and again. That's what I'm doing right now, and I really, really agree with what Kirby said. If you want to be doing acting, want to be doing voice acting, don't let your job interfere, because like I said, that can be what stops a lot of people, is that they never get out of it, right? So try to find something that complements acting as well, which is why I work in radio now. Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to perpetuate actor stereotypes. I was a waitress. It is what it is. Food service is an interesting thing to do. So I did that for a while, and it was interesting. It was an interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll let you know when the career is going. No, this is all very true. Part of the things, I mean, if voice acting is your passion, then you'll do things to complement it. One of the nice things, though, is that even in Calgary, which is a slightly smaller market compared to Vancouver or Toronto, you can use your voice in other ways to supplement your income. Some of you might be singers, some of you, you can do commercial voice work. So you can sell your soul to Encana or Synovus, like I did about 2 weeks ago, and did some stuff for them. So you can use your voice, your talents in other ways as well to make money in order to be able to do voice acting, especially if you're gonna stay in Calgary.
And oftentimes our directors aren't in Calgary. I mean, we work with people all over the world. We just hear them in the headset. So, don't feel that you're limited by geographics. And a lot of people have amassed a great home studio and a great reputation that they can work from their cabin in the woods if they want to. So, I mean, when I was starting out, I was a full-time actor and was doing a lot of TV and film and commercial work, and then just was fortunate enough that this was a complement of that. So I've always appreciated having my first and foremost career choice being, the visual medium of acting, and then being able to work on how it can be different and be influenced in the voice booth where you're completely free. So.
And I just want to point out something really quick. Brendan Hunter, as well, his day job, he just produced a fine film called
Lloyd the Conqueror.
Lloyd the Conqueror.
Yeah, I screened it here last year. I gave Odafest a free screening last year. So yeah, that'll be coming out on DVD Blu-ray probably in July. But thanks, Lucas. Hey, you're all right, kid. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, when I first started, I was a bartender and enjoyed voice acting so much that I went and took a radio course here in town at SAIT and went straight into radio. So I worked for 6 radio. Yeah, I worked for 6 radio stations. I'm a full-time writer and part-time voice actor.
Ooh, he works for 6 radio stations. I only work for 3.
I know. What a loser, am I right, guys?
Look at this.
Let's get them down on the floor and leg wrestle.
Yeah.
I will murder you in a leg
Did you
wrestle.
say leg wrestle?
Yeah, I will straight up end
What's
you.
leg wrestle? Let's do it right here. What are we doing? Should we do it?
You don't even know what a leg wrestle is? Okay, Lucas needs a little bit of tutorial.
Holy crap, but Lucas has the long legs, but my brother's like a dwarf. I don't have to notice this. It's very stocky. Okay, so you're going to want to get your ankles to hook. Okay. So, Michael, you take it. Use the force.
Don't puss out.
Everybody counts. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Still champion!
Hilarious, Lucas.
Oh, if you could have seen the glutes from this perspective, it was like...
These shorts were long enough, right? There was no peekaboos, no?
I've lost every competition I've ever been in, so I just want you guys to know, this is the worst thing in my life. Humiliated in front of so many people.
And many more.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
That would have been so.
They don't love you for your physical prowess.
Yeah, okay.
So getting back to the
Right. You're doing erotic door-to-door telegrams and you want to move your voice.
They were leg wrestling for a living before all this started. And no, I was actually a waiter in Toronto when I started out, and I actually got the Ace Ventura job when I was a waiter, and I didn't quit my waiter job because I didn't feel like, because I sort of got it early on in my career, and I was like, I'm not good enough yet actually to, you know, to just do this full time, even though it sort of was a full-time position in terms of the amount of money I was making. People used to say, why are you still waitering? I was like, well, I still have to kind of figure this thing out. I'm not ready to leave it. So I did that for a little bit, and then and I've also taught tennis, because I've been a tennis player throughout my life. I had a scholarship to the States and played tennis and the whole thing, so I taught tennis. So having flexible jobs is really key.
I think it sounds like you just need to be super good at stuff all your life like you, and then you'll be fine. You just need to be super talented at like sports.
Jesus Christ.
All right, thank you guys. We had some more questions over here, and then we'll get over there over here. So, yeah, who would be? Yeah, there's just your hand first.
Do you guys ever get embarrassed by terrible things that people say on shows?
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I don't know if I get embarrassed. I think it's
More the innuendos that end up happening from some of the things that you have to say, I think.
The fact that I have every 13-year-old girl that ever meets me ask me to ask them, I don't know, they ask me to say, will you bear my children? and they say, will you say the line? I'm like, no, because I'll go to jail.
Are you a cop? You have to tell me. Are you a cop?
This wouldn't do well in jail. Trust me.
We're not cut out for anything but being behind glass.
It's crazy. It can be so awkward. I did a show called Strawberry Marshmallow.
Oh, no.
It was actually an awesome show. I love that show. But I was the older sister, and every time the like 4 younger sisters were there, she'd dress them up in like animal costumes and like blush. Like, oh, you guys are so cute. Oh my god. It was so awkward until you get used to it.
Miss it.
I played the store owner, like DigiCarrot or Shin, and sometimes I just throw up my hands and go, why is this man spending so much time with small children? It's not a school, it's not in an educational capacity. Why is he socially inept? So that's a little uncomfortable. It's all meant really well, but it's like, come on, really? Yeah.
DigiCarrot was a really weird show for anyone who's seen it. That show it was for kids, but it was on acid all the time. I played this character named Gemma.
Oh no.
Like, my name's Gemma. You know, you sure seem sad when you suck on a popsicle.
Seriously, and so there's one scene where he's eating a popsicle, his eyes are closed, he's like, oh. Like that. But the thing is, and they're like, yeah, we know, Lucas, we know. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, oh, yeah. I can't. So you have to be like, that's a nice popsicle. That's great, you know. But so everyone knows that it's supposed to be weird, but you can't play up the weirdness. I think that was the worst one.
It's the beauty of voice acting. Sometimes you have to just make sounds. You just have to make the sound.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the engineers keep their own mixtape for their secret room. They plug in Best of Groans 2011. DigiCarrot was an amazingly weird show, and I think we all got to play Purple
You were
Monster.
my magical lipstick rabbit helicopter girl's imaginary prince?
Yeah, I got to play her fantasy love interest, who was like a 7-year-old boy with beautiful blonde hair. He spoke like Michael Jackson, and he sang songs to her about how her parents will love her more if she takes good care of her cuticles. It's probably my favorite episode.
I love that show.
We did a music video. It was amazing. Like the show had so ridiculous. But yeah, Purple Monsters just popping out of the corner.
We're getting
One of the hardest things I
Start talking to each other. Yeah.
So anyways, but One of the hardest things that I find, I'm sure you guys have all experienced this, when you have like a big long paragraph of words to do and then you just screw it up like 18 takes in a row and then you're like I'm in hell right now. Because you just can't, it's just for some reason you can't get the take and especially in prelay when you're doing it, you're in front of 9 other people and they start making fun of you and oh, why don't you try it again? Go again, that's good. That can be tough.
All right, so it's closer to 4 o'clock. Yeah, let's decide. When you first started, where did you see your career?
You're looking at someone specific. Would you point them out? Oh, I thought you were making eye contact with one of the centerpiece.
You're standing in front of a group of people.
So can you say the question again? I mean, when we started out, where did we see ourselves going?
God, I was just so damn grateful to be wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I think my answer is a little bit anticlimactic. I'm very much, I just do things. I don't really have a clear end goal until I kind of come across it. It's only been in the last year, I think, especially with the Cardfight Vanguard stuff, that I've become more focused into actually pursuing maybe radio and voice work, right, as a actual pursuit. So I think when I started, I was a fan. I grew up watching a lot of shows. I really was into a lot of the culture, a lot of cartoons. Like, God, I watched Reboot. That was my jam, right? Like not no word of a lie. I watched shows that these two gentlemen here were in religiously. And so me getting into it, I kind of just, I fell into it, and I've been blessed every step of the way. So I think having a really hardcore plan in place, in my experience, is not really realistic, because you can control it, how hard you try, but sometimes you can't control what comes to you. So just put yourself in the right place with the right opportunities, and you'll do fine.
I was going to say, you can't control, you can control how hard you try, but not what comes to you. That's, because in the business, you'd be like, you're really happy and excited, and then you're mad and angry, and then you're happy and excited again, and you're hating the world, and then you're really excited again, and it just goes when you get a job, when you're not working, when you get a job, when you're not working. And it's, it's fun, but I'm happy-ish.
Today's here.
I'd say for me, like, it's hard to, when you get into it, because you just don't know anything about the business. So it's hard to set a trajectory for yourself where you're like, man, I would like to be, you know. So I think as you start to get more and more experience and just get more awareness of what's possible and what's out there, then you start to devise more of a plan. And, you know, I mean, I've been doing this for 18 years, and I'm still on my way. I'm still getting better. I mean, I'm still, you know, you still figure things out, that you can do something, you know, you're figuring out your range even to this day. You're still figuring out what other characters can I do, what other things can I do better, like all of that starts to happen. So for me, one of the exciting things for me is I'm getting into the producing side of animation, which is going to be a lot of fun for me, and starting that whole side. I've produced on camera, but I've never done animation, so it's very exciting for me to eventually, I'm starting very small, just very, very small, 1 minute pieces, and I grow from there. So we'll see what happens.
That's sweet. I always just really wanted to read good scripts, and sometimes it happens, and it's an awesome day. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and it's hilarious. So those are fun too.
We're talking about career trajectory, aren't we? Oh, okay. I just want that sweet Hasbro contract. Did you get one of those, Michael? Yeah, for your MLP piece? Oh, for the love of, what was the point then? Barbie. Do you? Oh yeah, right on, Kirby. Oh, sweet. I was in the first Barbie movie, Barbie the Nutcracker Prince, as the Nutcracker Prince. No, but I mean, we get to meet a lot of our peers from around the country, around the world, and some have, you know, this long history of really recognizable characters. And, you know, I've got a couple that people come up and talk to me about, and then a lot that, you know, either got seen in foreign markets or you know, had lower release. And so, you know, I love going to cons, and I love, you know, meeting the people that know this stuff, because a lot of times I haven't gotten to experience it myself, because it's just so hard to come by. So I love it when our stuff's on Canadian television or readily available, so that you know, you kind of feel like you're a part of something. It's, you know, gang mentality, you know? Now I can roll with my pretty cure peeps and no one's gonna touch me. But, you know, seriously, I mean, you know, I'm an actor first, so I love being a part of something that people know about and people want to talk about. So that's what you're always pushing for, is being part of things that you respect, you're enjoying. If I could be on Adventure Time, or if I could be on Archer, oh, fuck, yeah! I said fuck, yeah!
He meant sploosh. He meant sploosh.
But yes, it's John Benjamin. If Brendan Small wanted me to be on a show, I would move to New York and babysit his dog, whatever he needs.
It's hard to know with every creative endeavor what's going to take off and what isn't. Speaking as not someone who's seen the show, but I had no idea that ponies would become this worldwide phenomenon. Right? Fish in it. So I mean, you never quite know. So it's your trajectory could. You think you're going someplace, and it could veer off someplace very differently depending on the project, right? How it takes off, what kind of opportunities it presents to you.
Friendship's magic.
Yeah, when I started off, I grew up on cartoons, and that was my initial desire to want to do it. I had a teacher in school who said I should get into voice work, and that encouraged me. I was a huge fan of Transformers growing up, and I don't want to say that. I want to say this because everybody knows Peter Cullen, right? Yeah. He was a member of the first graduating class of the National Theatre School of Canada. Him and Martha Henry. He's originally Canadian. He moved down to the States and had this amazing career. But so there's a little bit of acting pedigree for you. But yeah, so that's where, and it's been interesting. I mean, just working out of Calgary, but. You know, you do get a bit of appreciation, and it's nice seeing your work. But yeah, you never know, right? Something could be brilliant and take off, and sometimes it could be like dice. And I know. Anyway, thanks.
World domination. Yes, that's been my goal. I've started work on a laser.
Oh, for the law.
Big one.
I've been interviewing minions.
Oh, we should do it. I'm totally starting a Facebook group. It's going to be fantastic. I think that in a career like this, it's difficult to plan where you're going to end up, but you got to be it's constantly changing and mutating and becoming a new thing every single year. And I always just hope that next year will always be better than the year before. And I usually win.
And you hope good work follows good work. I mean, you keep trying to, you know, maybe it's like golf, you're always playing against yourself. But really, I mean, you want to be proud of what you're doing, and then the directors and engineers and producers you work with, they bring you on for another show, they bring you on for, you know, other characters that are more prominent, and I think it's all part of how you as a career voice actor plan to be there for as much as you can.
Tice. For Kirby.
I'm good.
Alright, so those of you who want to get into voice acting, raise your hand. There are classes coming in Calgary. Richard Horvitz, who was in Invader Zim, Angry Beavers, lots of stuff. He's coming in November, so please come see me if you guys want to sign up for this class. And Bill Holmes, the voiceover doctor, he's also coming in July. So please speak up if you guys want to be part of it. There are only 15 spots per class. 15.
She will be at the signing style with the rest of us.
Yep.
Whatever time it is that we're going to do the autographs.
1:30.
Yeah.
1:30.
Yes.
Yeah, so please come see me and get an autograph.
Oh, and the other thing, I want to make sure we got this before we go back to the questions, but you and you two, Carol Ann and Lucas, were going to mention something about the charity auction. Yeah. So who here is aware of the charity auction? Right. Can you guys confirm for me that if you show up, you will be verbally abused for about 4 solid hours?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It'll be worth it, I promise. Yeah. And if you just let me know by cheering whether or not you think it's worth it. Okay, so yeah, you get consent. So these two would like to talk about something they're going to add to the charity auction.
So we kind of just planned this yesterday. I didn't really know much about the charity stuff that was going on until we met up with these guys yesterday. At the charity, you bid on items. It's exactly what it sounds. It's a charity auction, right? So the price goes up and up. I don't want to say it wrong. Is it the Calgary Mental Health Association? That's it? Okay, so that's the benefit that it's going to, that's near and dear to my heart, so I wanted to support that along with Caroline.
Absolutely.
We're going to be auctioning off personalized voice messages or personalized messages of any sort, you know, be it video, be it voice, whatever. Which is what we can do, and you know, maybe we can, if a guy wins or a girl wins, we can play video games together or something like that, or a card fight, whatever. So that's just us giving what we can give for a really, really good cause.
Absolutely. So.
Well, for the love of, I'll offer something like that too.
Are we
Wow, Brendan.
Brendan's in. I have a feeling.
I can do that too. If you, Herbie, can you join in?
For free.
All right, look at this. Cool. Okay. Well, then I think we're all going to be there. I can't. That's tomorrow, right?
It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
The charity auction runs just before your final voice acting stuff.
Okay.
And then your voice acting stuff is about an hour before the charity stuff does.
So we'll come from our thing and we'll go to the auction. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So please come by, you guys. Kirby and Michael and all of us. We have a lot of interesting, really unique stuff that you can get from us. You won't be able to get anywhere else. So come on down, and it's for a really good cause. Thank you, guys.
I got nothing.
Ursula the Sea Witch is going to take our voice.
I monopolized that one. Sorry, Karen. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm just here to pretty up the place.
Sorry.
Okay, so we had another question here, I think. Okay, let's go there.
What was your favorite character in Toy?
All right, mine was Von Fennell from Vision of Escaflowne. And I really like doing Michelangelo and Ninja Turtles.
For me, it's a toss-up between Zero and Morikawa. Zero was really, really cool. He had a lightsaber. It was a beam sword. You got to fight Sigma. And in the video game, it's really cool killing myself again and again and again, just hearing my death scream. That's a lot of fun. Because I suck at those games. And then Morikawa, because he's just a bundle of goofiness. So. Great threes! Yeah. I have like 20. So.
Is this a fight? You guys
Yeah,
can
just
throw it.
now.
Leg wrestling! I'm joking.
And now, really quick, I want to point everyone's attention to the sword fight happening back there. There's an epic sword fight up there. Hi, guys.
Yeah. I think I might have to go with, I love all of them. I've played such good characters. I'm so awesome.
Wow.
But one of my favorites was Allenby from G Gundam. She had this chip in her head, and I literally did like 45 minutes of nothing but like screaming. It's very liberating.
Rekka was fun, but also, yeah, that was good. That was fun. I got to whine a lot. And Hilt when I got to, again, blow up cities and things like that. It was the content more than the voice, but yeah, that was fun.
Actually, that's a really good point. A lot of times it's the character, not the. Was that the question? Which character was the best, or which voice was the best? Okay, so yeah, best character. Never mind. I got it.
I guess I really did enjoy doing Hisoka on Hunter x Hunter. It was so dark and inappropriate. And I was trying to think back as to when that shift happened, when I stopped getting the muscle man roles, and when I started getting the live, foppish roles. And I think it was Lechman in Mega Man Powered Up, and then it was all this zap. And someone put on YouTube, like, I didn't know you could play like as these characters, and they have like an 8-minute, play Mega Man as Lechman. And I'm like, oh, that's rad, because now I can hear all of it in 8 minutes, and it's ridiculously fun for me, because these are like, from the beginnings, it's like the genesis of how my career turned away from like the muscly, fighty guys into these other kind of guys, which are super fun for me. I really enjoyed Hisoka.
Yeah, it's funny that everyone keeps on talking about being typecast, because I'm generally the big, ballsy, muscly friend or enemy sort of thing. So those are, like, I mean, being Domo, friend of Rekko, that was always really fun. But it's really fun when you get a character that's outside of your usual range. Like, there's a movie that hasn't been released yet that I'm not supposed to talk about, but in it, I get to laugh like this, like, which is really fun to do. Like, I mean, you're in a booth by yourself, just cracking yourself up in like a big, like, Patrick from SpongeBob type of voice. So I guess my favorite character was 5-Star Dragon from the original Dragon Ball series, because he was just wow, dude. He was really fun to be.
It's tough. It's a tough one. I would say I have a couple. Definitely doing Ace Ventura was really special for me because that was like my first voiceover job. So it was kind of right out of the gate, and I was, you know, doing an impression of Jim Carrey on this animated series, and it was kind of crazy. So it was, and it just was a lot of fun to. Pleasure to meet you. It's a real honor. Just sort of doing that whole kind of thing. It really was, and I couldn't leave it. Like for like 2 hours after the session, we'd all go out to the bar and have a beer after that. We'd all be like, "So, you can order some nachos? Think I might? Excellent." So, anyways, that was fun, and then doing Sesshomaru was a lot of fun. And I was really amazed at the reaction, because I have various, like, my on-camera demo reels on YouTube, and I would have hundreds of comments on the thing going, "He's gonna ruin Sesshomaru! Snake Eyes curses to you!" And all these, like, and I'd get them as emails, these people that were really upset that I was gonna blow. Has anyone seen it? I don't know, have you guys? So I hope I did it justice, because I was doing an impression of David Kaye. Very much in there. Well, little brother. Sort of that kind of thing in there. And anyways, that was a lot of fun to do too. So there you go.
Do you have any questions from that side of the room which you'd like to take honestly? Or you guys just chilling? Okay, yeah, you. Get the side guy. What are the most common phone calls? Just so you know.
To assume that it's a career? That's never been the case for me, so I'll probably say that.
I would say for me that just don't, for me, I'm just being personally, but I try not to do voices that are going to really hurt my voice. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been hired on series. I was just telling Kirby about this. That I was hired on a series, and then they hired me for kind of what I brought at the audition, and then we got into the first episode record, and they were like, "No, it's like over here where you grind your cords and you have hamburger meat in your throat after you're done, and there's blood coming out of your throat, and that's where you need to do the voice." And I was like, I can't do that. So I've just really tried to avoid, because I do a lot of commercial voiceover as well, and narration, and I can't, like, you know, if I have an animation session one day and the next day is a commercial session, I can't, you know, be completely destroyed. So I just try to protect it. It doesn't mean that, you know, you still use your voice quite heavily and work it out, but I just try not to hurt it.
Don't get your tonsils and adenoids removed in the middle of a contract. That was dumb. But it was unavoidable. And it was Dragon Ball, so if you've ever heard of this show, it's a lot of fighting and yelling, and 6 episode builds up for Kamehameha waves. So I did 2 solid weeks of like 40 hours to try and bust out as many episodes as we could. Went in, they took out half of my head, and I got about 10 days off. Wasn't quite enough. Hamburger meat, blood. You've all tasted a penny. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's really gross. But actually, I mean, really, like, the faux pas would be, I think, to reiterate something I said earlier, would be to, by all means, emulate your heroes, copy voices, but don't go into auditions and do other people's voices. Make sure that you're taking something personal, whether it's a choice or it's just you fueling that character. I think a faux pas would be to be, oh, it should sound like so-and-so. Well, they can get so-and-so if they want. They want something new. They want something unique. So I would say, remain true to what...
I was going to say something exactly along the same lines. Is when you go in, I wasn't going to stomp on your parade, baby. I was going to say, I would tell you, we all know. I would say when you go in for an audition, don't get married to the voice that you chose originally, because the director has the final say. So you can go in there with a voice and you're like, oh man, this is the greatest voice I've ever created. And they're like, nope. So yeah, don't get married to it and don't get hurt feelings.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to add my voice to the chorus of people saying, especially in Calgary, know your market, know what you're trying to do. If you're going for commercials, maybe learn what commercials sound like, you know? Do your research. Like a big faux pas is going in unprepared. Don't do other people's voices. In Calgary, stay away from accents sometimes. A lot of people go in and they bring accents and they bring these things, you know, it's like, just for now, don't start with that. Unless you kill it, then do it, go for it. There's a lot more work for your voice than there is, like, and Michael has a killer impression right there that he's doing for Ace Ventura. But
if they're paying you to be Ace Ventura, be Ace Ventura.
So go for it. So
do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
do that.
Mimic away if you can do it, but it's definitely not going to be the only thing you do. It's just it's like a tool in your tool belt that you can use. And I do a fair bit of mimicry and impression type work, but it's just, you know, I'm all right at voice matching. I can do it, but yeah, I mean, you got to bring your own original stuff to the table every time.
And last but not least, I don't know if there's, I mean, you're obviously fans of the genre, right? And there's always, from what I understand, there's a dissonance between the original and the scripts that are translated into English. And often none the twain shall meet, and there's a lot of upset people about that. And a lot of the products that we do, especially the animation is translated for a Western audience. It's cleaned up, it's changed, so just be prepared for that. And it's like, this is not the source material. Well, you know, there will obviously be a difference between that and what you guys will be performing.
I'll throw at you the 3 rules of voice work that I've lived and taught everyone that's been serious about getting into the industry. What I believe is the 3 rules you should live by. The first is make a choice and commit to it. If there's trepidation, if you don't feel good about something, it comes through in your voice, and they all know. You have to commit and give it your all. The second is be flexible. Don't be married to the voice that you have. People are going to want to change it. There's a bunch of different cooks in the kitchen, and everybody's going to have an idea of how something should sound. So you have to be able to adapt. The third is how you market yourself in this business is life or death. It's a business. You have to have a good demo. You have to have your homework done. You have to have the right materials to show that you're a professional and entering a professional world. That's it.
Sorry, no more questions. There are going to be autographs in ICT 121 in half an hour. So let's give it another hand. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Spread the word about the charity auction of the voice messages and stuff, so folks know that was just thought up last night.